What's going on, everybody? GemMint here, back with the new comic book day reviews. It's Wednesday, November 23rd, a day before Thanksgiving, and as always, gonna go through this week's huge stack of books as spoiler-free as possible. And I'm going mostly physical books now, trying to get away from the digital as much as I can. I do have some digital books that I'm still reading, including 8 Billion Genies, which I wish I would have grabbed on to the physical copies as they came out. But issue 6, Charles Soule, Ryan Brown, they're really going deep into this universe that started with, 8 seconds, 8 days, 8 months, 8 years, 8 decades. What does this future look like for the remaining humans? Some of them still have genies, some of them don't. Some of them are trying to make it to this safe haven of a place with almost like American Idol type of contestants. You have to try out to get into this haven or whatever it's called. You know, I'm sticking it out. There's only 2 more issues. I don't like it as much as I did when I first started reading it. I feel like it kind of overstayed its welcome with me a little bit, but it's still an interesting, fun concept. Speaking of crazy, fun concepts, we got Department of Truth with issue 22. James Tynion and Simmons and Bidikar. So we're in the overarching story. The Department of Truth and the Bureau of Lies, they're going to come to a head. Cole has to make a decision whether or not to kill his husband or his boyfriend, or bring him in on this secret and make him a part of the Department of Truth in a sense, and try to really change the course of where everything is going. Lee Harvey Oswald being the head of the Department of Truth, having to make a big change in what they've been doing over the decades to avoid catastrophe, basically. Great series, very intriguing. I look forward to reading this every time it comes out. So, like I said, issue 22, that's where we're at. Then we have Hitomi, issue number 2 by H.S. Tak and Isabella Mazzantini. This is very much a kind of Ronin samurai story. It feels very Usagi Yojimbo. The girl was looking for the killer of her family, and she finally finds him. He ends up rescuing her in the first issue. Now she's riding along with him, trying to learn everything he knows so that she can become a samurai herself. It's an easy read. I'm going to continue to read it. I dig it. I like Usagi Yojimbo. And then we have Vanish, issue 3 by Donny Cates and Ryan Stegman. Also joined by J.P. Meyer, Sonia Obach, and John J. Hill. I like this universe that they're creating. You basically have kind of like a boys type of concept where all these superheroes that they see in this world really have this dark background. They come from this place of supernatural beings and magic users. But I like how it's really grounded with like the grittiness that Donny Cates brings to the main character who's been living on Earth or in this world, battling depression and drug abuse, and has a very mature dialogue to it. But it feels like The Boys, there's a lot of superhero fighting now, killing superheroes as our main character tries to get back at the people that destroyed his family. Very Ronin-like aspects to that as well. Which is going to bring us on over to some Spawn, y'all. Scorched, issue 12. This is by Sean Lewis and Steven Segovia. Great cardstock cover here, a quality, well put together book that is still $2.99. I finally see what Rock and Robbie was talking about when we used to do our top 10s. But it's very much just the Scorch team going up against the Curse and the Sin Devourers. I like the twist at the end. I don't want to give it away, but it's kind of badass. And great artwork here. I mean, even on this cover, as you can see, they have cool things going on in the pages of Scorch. Nothing groundbreaking, just kind of fighting and battling, and it really still all has to do with Spawn locking those damn dead zones and contemplating opening them up so that he can free Wanda. All right, where are we at? Now we're going to move over to Boom Studio. So I jumped back onto Mighty Morphin Power Rangers with the last issue, with issue 101. Issue 102 is here, and man, it's hitting hard, man. As somebody who grew up watching this, rest in peace to Jason David Frank. It was very upsetting, obviously, to a lot of people to hear about his passing. But his legacy lives on. It's funny, I'm reading these comic books and I'm like, man, are they going to continue with the Tommy character in the books? Melissa Flores is writing it, Simona D. Gia Felice, and Raul Angulo. So, interesting twist at the end of the last issue. Lord Zed asking for the Rangers' help. He seemingly is defeated by Rita Repulsa. Now, Rita takes on a new persona in this book. And it kind of feels like a throwback to the original Green Ranger saga. We have a new character named Matt, who is the Green Ranger, as Tommy is the White Ranger here. So they're trapped on the moon. They took the Green Dragon Zord to the moon, and it ran out of gas or whatever. It wasn't able to make the trip back. So now the Power Rangers are trying to help Lord Zed. And man, crazy stuff happens to Zed. I don't think we've ever seen this side of him before. And I'm really digging Power Rangers. I'm glad I jumped back on with that last issue. It's a good jumping on point. And continuing here with issue 102. Another one from Boom, we have Stuff of Nightmares, R.L. Stein, A.L. Kaplan, and Roman Titov. So it's very much a Frankenstein book. I like the bookend storytelling from this Crypt Keeper type of character, but it's basically mad scientists. They're trying to recreate life, make these dead bodies become human, and the brothers get into it, and you know, the only way to save him is putting his brain into the body kind of thing. I dig it. It's kind of a little cliche, but I'm still having fun with the series. And continuing with Boom Studios, we got a new #1. This is Once Upon a Time at the End of the World. It's by Jason Aaron. He's joined by Tefenji, Low Ridge, Dragotta, and Renzi. So we're in a post-apocalyptic world. You have this girl who is in a canoe going through the waters, and you have the feeling that these waters are like acid or polluted, and there's like these tentacle monsters. And she runs up on this tower where this boy has been secluded. We find out what happened to his family, and it seems like there's nobody else in the world whatsoever. So they have their witty kind of banter and interactions. It's kind of a fun, playful story within them meeting in this post-apocalyptic world where everything is destroyed and there's monsters everywhere. So it's one of those books. I'm digging it. I'm going to keep giving it a shot. And then we have the Frank Miller Presents super stuffed, oversized issue for Ancient Enemies. He's joined by Didio and Beirut. It's issue 1 of 6. I really did enjoy this. They gave us a lot of storytelling and world building. The art was great as well. From what I understand, Frank Miller storyboards this, but he didn't do the artwork in the interiors. It very much matches the cover here. So this world is basically aliens crashed down. There was a tear in reality. So it seems like they traveled via dimension maybe, destroying the east coast of the United States. And then it just pushes us 20 years later, how we utilize that alien technology and how we grew as a civilization from that. But there was one ship that kind of got away that didn't crash land. And now 20 years later, we find out it's opposing aliens that were fighting each other. And now that battle has been brought to Earth. So like I said, a lot of world building, a lot of storytelling leading even up to what was going on with the aliens. So I dug it, man. I'm in for issue 2. And before we jump into the big 2, it's Wednesday, so it's Whatnot Wednesday, and we are going live at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern for 1 hour, $1 start auctions, and we are on the road to 10,000 followers, y'all. I was going to give a statue away, but I think instead we're going to give away this sealed PS5 once we hit 10,000 followers on Whatnot. So make sure you're following me. I'm going to put the link in the description. I'm going to put it in the pinned comment as well. I go live Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, so make sure to follow me over on Whatnot. And we're going to start with DC, which means we have a Marvel pick of the week. Punchlines here with issue 2. This is the Gotham Game by T. Howard, B. Howard, Melenkov, Robson, and Guerrero. Great cover by Melenkov and great interior art as well. I'm digging the series so far. I like the Punchline character and her craziness. This is post her getting acquitted of the crimes that she was accused of during the Joker War, so they're continuing with that. Punchline hitting the streets, taking down other criminals, kind of looking for some prime real estate, and of course Batman jumps in to try to bust up what she's got going on here, but I'm digging this series. I liked issue 1. Issue 2 was strong as well, so we'll continue with Punchline. Moving on to a series that's not so strong, we have Batman the Fortress, issue 7 by Witta, Robinson, and Rodriguez. So, man, there's so much I didn't like about this issue whatsoever. First of all, the Jackson character, the Aqualad, like, what is his deal, man? Like, everything he says is like some racially charged thing. Wasn't feeling that. And then the Green Lantern character, who I'm not really familiar with, just felt like a Rocket Raccoon ripoff. This picks up right where we left off last time. Lex Luthor, well, Batman with Lex Luthor and some other recruits are trying to break into the Fortress of Solitude. They're trying to figure out how to stop this alien invasion that knocked out all the power on the planet. Is that what happened? Am I mixing two stories up? I think that's what's happening here. Anyway, they're in Superman's Fortress of Solitude trying to get through the booby traps, but man, found it hard to get into the issue with like all those other undertones. Sticking with some more Batman stuff, we have Gilded City issue number 2. I think it's a tie-in with the game. I'm actually playing Gotham Knights right now as well. This is by Narcisse, Abel, and John. So I really didn't like the banter between Batman and Nightwing. Like, they hate each other in this issue. I really wasn't feeling that. But yeah, only Nightwing can solve crimes in Bloodhaven. I don't know. I thought that was kind of whack. But they're trying to take down whoever's using a version of the Scarecrow's fear toxins, creating this FOMO gas. I don't know. Not really feeling it. The artwork is okay, though. It's better than Batman Fortress. More Batman, y'all. Detective Comics is here with issue 1066, Rom V, with Reyes, Mickey, and Stewart. You got a backup story by Spurrier, Sherman, and Filardi. So I'm finding myself getting back into Detective. Rom V sometimes can be a little too deep for me, and I think I'm catching up here. You have this new family in Gotham, this kind of reminding me of like the Azrael Batman story on how their families were both founding families of Gotham City, but it's this new family that we're being introduced into. We've got this Two-Face side story that's going on in the main story, but the backup story is also playing on the Two-Face thing, on how Harvey Dent's in control. Two-Face is in his consciousness trying to break free, but Harvey is trying to play the role of Two-Face to, I don't know, infiltrate or do something. It's dark. The artwork is gritty as well. I really like the stuff they did with Two-Face, especially in the backup story with the guy peeling his scab off his face. That was pretty gross. But Detective Comics starting to grow on me a little bit more. And then we have Action Comics 1049 here. This is by Philip Kennedy Johnson along with Perkins and Lowridge. There's a backup story which was super short by Johnson as well, LaFamme and Mulvihill. So we're on part 5 already on the return of Kal-El. Superman is back here, and he's kind of wrapping up the politics involved with bringing War-World into Earth's orbit. I don't want to give too many spoilers away here, but it looks like it's all going to be kind of taken care of and wrapped up with a nice bow on top here to kind of move on to the next storyline. The backup story, the Red Moon story, just kind of focused on more of those Kryptonians that were slaves of War-World and what happened to the person who killed the first Mongol and what's going to happen with that character. It's okay. Superman battling with the new Genesis, new gods, and then you have the resurrection of Metallo here, which was pretty interesting. You know, there you go. It's Action Comics. Then we got Dark Crisis. We have a one-shot here. This is The Dark Army by Mark Waid and a bunch of different artists. You got Dawson, Culver, Williams II, Herbert, and Lucas. So Damian Wayne versus the Darkness. So it's a Damian Wayne led team that's going off on their own to try to help solve this whole Dark Pariah and Dark Army thing. Now, the thing is, when they change artists, it's kind of jarring because Damian Wayne looks like he goes from a kid to an adult, then back to a kid again, and I couldn't tell if that was part of the story or if it was just the artwork here. First appearance here of this Red Canary, right? I don't think this character has been in any other stories, but them traveling to the Red Canary's world, the Infinite Earths have been resurrected by the Dark Pariah in this storyline. So this is a one-shot visiting one of those Earths, and they love doing the ape stuff in DC lately, right? So it's a Planet of the Apes type of thing. It's kind of an unnecessary one-shot, if you will. And then we have DC vs. Vampires. We're on issue 11 of 12 by James Tynion, Rosenberg, and Schmidt. Trying to get to the end of this story here. I kind of lost interest in this a while ago. Nightwing is the main antagonist here, and they're trying to get to Nightwing to end this whole thing. What they play on here is the fact that there are a lot of aliens on planet Earth, right? I mean, Martian Manhunter, Superman. There's a lot of aliens. And they're trying to get them off planet. They struck some kind of deal with the vampires so that the vampires can take over the planet. So they're trying to get the hell out of here. I don't know. Like I said, lost interest a long time ago. And then the last one from DC, we have The Human Target. This is issue 9 of 12 by Tom King, and he's joined by Greg Smallwood. So this was a super slow issue. I've really been liking this series so far, but this was literally just the Human Target on his Henry Hill from Goodfellas, like paranoid that Batman is going to find him, and he knows by now what happened with Guy Gardner, and he's with Ice, but he's not telling her anything. And the whole issue is really him in the desert with Ice, just having conversations. They kind of wasted an issue for me. Moving on to Marvel Comics, we're going to start with X-Men issue 17, Jerry Dugan with Cassara and Guru EFX. So wrapping up this whole Children of the Vault storyline. Forge has gone into the vault to try to rescue Darwin. Minor spoiler alert, but in the last issue, he found the body of Wolverine X-23. So, you know, we're wrapping up this storyline. It was pretty cool to see Darwin have that conversation with Forge in his mind, in what the perfect vision of Krakoa would be, and Darwin learning from the vault and wanting to spend more time there. I don't want to get too much into spoiler territory. What else can I really say about this issue? It's not the strongest X-Men stuff out there. I don't know. It's getting hard to kind of continue reading the X-Men stuff. They need a new kind of reboot. They need a new Hoxpox at this point. X-Force issue 34 is here. Benjamin Percy along with Alan and Guru EFX. So X-Force, this was the entire issue, basically Sage, who is, I guess, the numbers person behind the X-Force, and showing how her job is so tough and looking at all the numbers, the deaths and the broken bones and all this and that. Basically Sage having a hard time at work here. And then Beast, man. Beast is on some other ish. Like, we learn kind of what he's up to. There's another prison besides the prison where they like exiled Sabretooth and such, an X-Force prison that only really Beast knows about, and he's doing terrible things to the prisoners there. So what's up with Beast, y'all? I don't know. He's been tripping for a while. We got a new Doctor Strange series here by Tradd Moore. Heather Moore on the coloring, and Tradd Moore wrote this as well. So this is a wraparound cover. Amazing, beautiful, trippy artwork. If you're familiar with Tradd Moore, he did Silver Surfer Black. So you're getting where Doctor Strange is during the death of Doctor Strange, and him kind of in this limbo type of environment. Tradd Moore telling most of the story with his art, but it does have dialogue. It's not like a silent issue or anything. As you can see from the cover, it's very trippy and out there, and I thought it was fun. I thought it was going to be a one-shot because it's oversized, but it leads into issue 2 coming out next, so I guess we'll continue to see what's going on with Doctor Strange. Chip Zdarsky's Daredevil is back with issue 5. I guess I must have grabbed a variant on accident here. So what's the aftermath of Daredevil and Elektra's marriage? They're running, what is it, the Fist now? Tying it into what's going on in the pages of Punisher and how they need to take down the Beast and all of that. I like the artwork here. I don't know, the story, what even happened? I'm trying to remember. They're recruiting new people for the Fist. That's really everything that happened. Alien issue 3, Philip Kennedy Johnson, joined by, I can't tell, it's a variant, and it didn't credit the other creators here. So we are on this planet. They sent in a team of synths who are super powered. It's like your first superhero team in Aliens. And there's a twist here. I like the Alien series. It feels very much like the movies. It has that like foreboding atmosphere. And it's not superhero-y just for that one little part with those synths, but trying to help the people that are on this planet. They didn't realize there were going to be people here. I like adding to the lore on what humans are using the xenomorphs for, and kind of tying it back into how they're the perfect race and they can survive extreme environments and circumstances, and why they would be experimenting with them. I dug it. It was a good issue. And then we have issue 3 of Midnight Suns. This is by Sachs, Zargaria, and Febuela. So as I was reading this, I was thinking, man, this is just a little too cliche, a little boring, a little too comic booky, and just wasn't for me. But they kind of got me with that last panel here, meeting a different version of Doctor Strange from a different universe. Not going to spoil who it is and what they add to the Midnight Suns team, because basically this is just a reason to get excited about Strange Academy. They're bringing in one of those main characters. There's a vision of her destroying the Earth. So this supernatural team, if you will, of like Ghost Rider, Magic, Wolverine, Blade are coming together to try to end whatever this prophecy was. So I don't know, they got David Nakayama A covers, and it had a hook ending that, like I said, it really kind of makes me want to read the next issue. So they did a good job with that. Before I get into my favorite comic of the week, the gem of the week, we are currently in open enrollment for the Comic Tom 101 Mystery Mail Call. Not only will he send you comics at random, but you also will get an exclusive Ninja Funk issue 1 variant by cover A artist David Mack. You'll also get a Demons Wars issue number 1, which is the new book by Peach Momoko, an exclusive cover by Peach. So 2 exclusive variants, both done by the cover A artist. Plus, this month's Mystery Mail Call is also going to have an amazing Spider-Man 20 scattered throughout. So you might be the lucky winner to get that. And also, there's going to be a Scout comic in there for kids with an homage cover by Nate Made It. ComicTom101.com right now to sign up for the Mystery Mail Call. All right, guys, and on to the gem of the week. First of all, I'm shocked it's a Marvel book. Very rarely does it end up being a Marvel gem of the week, and even more rare to see a Spider-Man book make that list, man. The Amazing Spider-Man issue 14 by Wells. But get this, there's 4 short stories in here, and the artists are Stegman, Dodson, Kyle Hotz, and Dowling. So I hate to say this, but maybe the fact that John Romita Jr. isn't on the book is kind of what propelled it to the gem of the week. But it's the beginning of Dark Web. Each short story is named after one of the seasons. So you have, spring, autumn, winter, summer, or what have you. And what's going on with Ben Reilly? Why is he turning into a villain? Who does he tap to help him? Well, we know it's the Goblin Queen herself. We know it's Madeline Pryor. It's the 2 clones teaming up to get what's theirs. Ben Reilly hung up on the fact that he's not a real person and that he lost his memories and he only has Peter Parker's memories. And obviously Madeline Pryor's mad about the whole not being Jean Grey and having the child with Scott and all that kind of stuff. Interesting stuff happening to Ben Reilly's girl, Janine, in these pages as well. And I really just loved those Kyle Hott's interiors, man. I'm always so used to seeing him as a cover artist. He killed the interiors here. I liked each of the short stories. It was the most compelling and interesting read of the week for me. I'm as shocked as you guys are. Let me know what you think about this week's comics in the comments down below. What was your pick of the week, or what are you looking forward to the most if you haven't gotten to them yet? I hope everybody has a happy Thanksgiving. I should still be having content. So, you know, while maybe you're cooking, while you're done eating, you can come over to the channel and see what I got going on. As always, I appreciate you guys watching. Stay minty fresh. Peace.